You ever get that feeling that you're just going through the motions? Like you're not totally sure what you really want out of life? If someone asks you, "So what do you want?" and your honest answer is, "I don't know," well, you're not alone. That's a way more common feeling than you might think. So today, we're going to talk about how to clear away all that noise and find your way back to, you. I mean, it seems like such a simple question, doesn't it? What do you truly want? But for so many of us, man, it is incredibly hard to answer that with any real certainty. Maybe you have some vague ideas, or maybe it's just been so long since you even stopped to think about it that you've just kind of settled into a routine. And that deep, authentic ambition, yeah, it can feel like it's a million miles away. So, why is this so hard? Well, a huge part of the problem is something we can call the noise of shoulds. Think of it like this constant low level static, this hum of expectations in the background of your life. And it makes it almost impossible to hear your own voice, the one that really matters. And this noise, it comes from absolutely everywhere. Seriously. From the moment we're born, we're just soaking up expectations from our family, our culture, school, our friends, the media, all of it. They all paint this perfect picture of what a successful life should look like. And what happens? Our own voice, our own desires, they just get completely drowned out in the process. Okay, so the very first step, and this is crucial, is to start filtering all of that out. Think of it like doing an audit on your own ambition. You need to look at the goals you have right now and be brutally honest with yourself. Am I chasing this for me, or am I doing it for someone else's approval? Because look, if a goal is really just rooted in what you think you should want, it's time to let it go. It's never going to make you happy. So getting rid of the shoulds, that's the first big step. But what about those dreams we used to have? The ones we just stopped thinking about? Well, here's the good news. Those dreams didn't just vanish. They're just buried, waiting for you to dig them up again. And there's a powerful psychological reason why we bury them. Wanting something that you truly believe you can't have, it's just painful. It hurts. So to protect ourselves from that feeling, that constant ache, we learn to just push the dream down. We settle. We literally train ourselves to stop thinking about it. This next question is such a great way to break through that mental block. Just for a second, forget about all the limitations. Money, what other people think, all the practical stuff. If you won, say, $10 million tomorrow, what would you really want to do with your life? This whole exercise is just about bypassing the how for a minute and getting back in touch with the what. So really, there are two main paths you can take to dig up these lost dreams. First, really let yourself imagine that ideal world with zero limitations. And second, travel back in your mind to your childhood. What were you passionate about then? But here's the most important part. You have to ask yourself today, does this still light me up? Does it spark joy for me now? And hey, it's totally fine if the answer is no. But you just might find something really special you'd completely forgotten about. Okay, but what if you try all that and you're still just drawing a blank? It happens. Well, there's another approach that's a little counterintuitive, but it is surprisingly powerful. And that's to start with what you don't want. And for so many of us, this is just way easier. It's often much simpler to name all the things that frustrate you or annoy you or that you absolutely want to avoid in your life. And this isn't about being negative, not at all. It's actually a fantastic starting point for getting really clear. So here's how it works. You take every single thing on your I don't want this list and you just define its exact opposite. That opposite, that flip side, is actually a hidden desire. So I don't want a chaotic work environment flips to I do want a calm, focused workspace. I don't want to feel rushed every morning becomes I want a slow, intentional start to my day. See, you're basically using what you dislike to figure out what you love. It's a really powerful technique. All right, so now we're starting to get some clues about what we want. But that's not the whole story. To make real, lasting change, we have to go deeper and understand the why behind the what. You need a reason that's big enough to be your engine, something that's going to keep you going when things inevitably get tough. Because let's be honest, those surface-level goals, they just don't have enough juice to power real change. Wanting a new car is nice, but it's almost never the kind of deep motivation that's going to transform your life. The real fuel, the stuff that lasts, it comes from a much deeper place. And here is the perfect technique to find that deeper fuel. You just start with the goal and keep asking yourself why over and over again. So check this out. The goal is, I want to be more efficient at work. Okay, why? To get a promotion and a raise. Okay, but why do you want that? To buy a larger home. We're getting closer. Why that? So my mother and sister can live with me. And there it is. The big why is to fulfill a shared dream of all living together. That is some serious fuel. So you see the difference, right? The desire for efficiency isn't the real foundation. It's just a tactic. It's not a cornerstone you can build a new life on. But that deep, powerful desire to connect with family, that is a cornerstone. That's a big why that has the power to drive real, lasting change. Now, believe it or not, we can actually go one level deeper still. Because at the absolute core of every single big why, there's something else we're really chasing. And ultimately, it's not the thing or the achievement. It's the feeling we believe that thing will give us. This is what we call the core desire. We don't really want the promotion. We don't even really want the house. What we're actually after is the emotional state we think those things will bring us. We're chasing feelings like freedom, connection, security, or peace. That's the real prize. Okay, wow, we've gone on a real journey here, haven't we? From all that surface level noise all the way down to our core emotional desires. So how can we make this a real, practical thing in our daily lives? Well, here's a beautifully simple habit you can literally start today. It's a habit of mindful observation. It's super simple. As you go through your day, anytime you come across something that makes you feel good, that sparks a little joy, it doesn't matter how small, just say to yourself, yes, I want more of this. And just as importantly, when you encounter something you dislike, just quietly say to yourself, no, thank you. Acknowledging that no is a huge step because it always helps you get clearer on your yes. So I'll leave you with a little challenge. Sometime later today, take a look at one of your biggest goals and do that why technique we talked about. Ask yourself why at least 3 times. Really dig past the surface stuff. What do you find way down at the bottom? What's the core feeling, the emotional state that you are truly seeking?